10 seconds remaining.
It is one of the better supports though to deal with the Weaver, so maybe they're just picking the
5
Bane for the
seconds
lane to
remaining.
really put the Night Stalker in the grave, because I think this is going to be rough, whether it's a Bane TA, which is more than
T1's
likely.
turn to ban Luna.
Keep the
You
Luna
don't reckon they could have like snapfired this?
on
Snapfire's
T1.
good against Weaver. Yeah, Snapfire's good against Weaver, and eventually you're going to have that Mars combination.
I think the Bane deals much better with the Weaver Night Stalker lane than what a Snapfire does, but the Snap provides you team fight, and
10
now also
seconds
amps the
remaining.
TA if you're going down that route. You know, more than, I mean, they picked it together, so they were definitely
5
thinking
seconds
about it.
remaining.
So, like, yeah, I mean, there's definitely arguments for both.
Dire
I think they
team
just
back.
really want to, because if you put the Night Stalker in the bin, then how do you start fights for Yangon? You've got now a really difficult position 3 to get involved, who's going to be lacking farm, and you've got a lineup on T1 that's going to look to snowball being on Radiant, so TA is going to have access to Roshan, and you're probably going to go for a Carl hero now
10
that can make
seconds
space,
remaining.
and just a question of what that hero is going to be.
5 seconds remaining.
And
I mean,
it's-
I'm assuming that it's going to be Yangon
T1's
picking up an Ember
turn
Spirit if
to
they have the
ban.
option to do it. They're banning out some of the bigger counters to it. Well, kind of done them a bit of a favor here with the Invoker being banned as well, right? Like that's always a nice hero to go into the Ember Spirit. So I want to see Scale Ember, right? You're always going to have multiple people next to each other for the
10
Searing
seconds
Chains with an
remaining.
IO pairing. It's another one of those heroes that's able to dish out a good amount of
5
damage
seconds
onto the
remaining.
backlines alongside the Night Stalker. And in pre-BKB, I mean, you can just like kite around to TA's BKBs, right? And then like Night Stalker's going to be running away. Weaver has Shikuchi. It's really only Luna that's going to be in a bit of a weird spot, right? If you go for an Ember Spirit. So I feel like if you kite the BKBs and just use the Flame Guard and all that damage over time to deal with the TA Refraction, I feel like Ember could be a very nice pick for them there. And it creates space for Luna to just sit there and fight.
And he's someone that uses Night Stalker vision really well. Like, you want to know where the supports are to jump and to see if they're teetering on the edge of you're looking to quickly jump in and blow you up. So I think he's one of the not few, but definitely one of the better heroes that use Dark Ascension to the best possibility. And of course, the comfort that young PH has. And the question is, do you ban it now on tier 1? You've got one more ban left.
Dire team
They're going to
back.
get rid of the Void Spirit. Did they go Ember themselves?
When I think of Carl, I don't think Ember Spirit. You know, like it's not really towards the top of my list whenever I consider it. But honestly, like what hero is Lena? I guess is still in the pool that they might look to go for.
10
For T1, I don't
seconds
think you
remaining.
Lena. I don't think you can go TA Lena. I think you need some.
5 seconds
I
remaining.
guess that
What
does
is
sound too
there?
greedy.
T1's
They been
turn
okay.
to
Well,
pick.
I guess you're onto something then. I was not really expecting them to go Lena. I think you. Lena's starting pick-offs across the map is a little bit difficult without yours. I guess Boots Shadow Blade is okay.
I just want to ask
Dire
you what's in the
team
pool
pick.
though, right? Like Puck, Batrider.
Oh, that's a call hero, without a doubt.
Yeah, nice against Ember as well.
Yeah, so it kind of blocks the Ember pick. What is Quap available? Quap banned out first
No,
phase. No
Quap's
chance.
definitely could be available.
No chance is let through. Puck is
10 seconds
honestly not the
remaining.
worst. It's decent versus the Batrider, pretty good versus the IO.
5
They
seconds
do not
remaining.
have great ways to deal with you, and I wouldn't hate Puck. Honestly, I struggle to see what else you could really go for here.
Ember Spirit.
I don't
Choose
know.
your hero.
You're picked into a horrible matchup, so young PH, you have to have some confidence in yourself to play this. And I mean, we always say position 2s have one of the biggest egos, so if he outplays Carl, I tell you what, the tips are going to be raining in.
I mean, Carl has to be one of the biggest chat wheelers in the entire Dota 2 Pro seed. So, yeah, I'm sure I'll let him know about it. But it is going to be rough, especially considering you are still taking damage even through the Flame Guard these days,
That's
right?
true.
So, it is a
The
little bit
matchup
more of a
worse?
difficult spot.
Like
It depends, right? Like it's worse because you're still taking damage through it, but it's better because you actually soak more damage, if that makes sense. Like the effective the damage that you need to take for Flame Guard to be expired at max level is now 570 instead of 500. So if you're going to try and kill Batrider, it's good. But if you're not, then it's rough, right? Because you're not actually looking to soak up that entire damage.
You were calling for Young PH's Ember Spirit for a couple of picks before this. Do you feel like this hero is actually still playable at the moment? Because I feel like there's some decent nerfs that put him towards really the not that S tier and even A tier carries, or position twos, I should say.
Yeah, I would say that it's definitely much more of a comfort sort of pick. Like, we rarely see people pick. Oh god, I'm trying to think of a niche hero. I guess the Wyvern. Wyvern kind of fills into that
That's
sort of
niche.
niche. It is. I mean,
Very niche,
like
yes.
Naga Siren as well. Troll Warlord. Not everyone's picking that these days. Not everyone's picking the Hoodwink. Not everyone's picking the Axe. It really does feel like it needs to fit a certain team or a person's playstyle. So that feels like the case, at least for me, for Young PH. And outside of this Batrider, it is a good Ember Spirit game. So it's just I'm worried about how the laning matchup's going to go.
Definitely feels like T1 have a big advantage in all their lanes. So just off the back of that, I'm going to favor T1. I don't even have to... I'm not going to give it too much thought. I'm just going to go like, all right, T1, I liked the lane setup previously. This game, I like it even more. And I feel like that's enough to really run over this game. Because I think Ember's going to be playing from behind.
What are you doing letting Roche hit you twice?
It's just...
Oh, man.
What do you mean, man? Cuckoo's always trying to give the enemy team an advantage whenever he can, and...
Look at Gabby. Just camping that bounty rune. The laning phase hasn't even
30
started and
seconds to
Carl's
battle.
already talking.
Well, dude, game sometimes hasn't even started and people talking in the draft. Like, it's... Like you said, it's just Carl. It's just Carl things. It's... Nothing really changes. It's what all the fans have come to love, man. What are you trying to say?
I'm not saying anything.
All
I'm trying to put
right.
words in my mouth.
No. You've been a little bit chirpy today.
Don't you start. You have been the king of chirp
Battle
today.
begins.
Oh, look at
Rain
this
might be in a
bait.
little bit of...
Oh, they don't know Gabby's here. So Rain double melted it to the dome.
Oh,
gets
he
the
didn't
first
know. Pepela. Gabby? Sage might be... I guess they... Oh, I was about to say they don't have any stuns, but if they stay too close by to that Luna, might have been able to interrupt any kind of TPs out with Lucid Beam. Not going to be able to do so, though. Yeah, like I said before, I like... Oh, God, I hate cores. Gabby didn't buy any regen, so he's just saying, Whitemon, feed me. I think he's got some maybe coming out to him on the courier now. Yeah.
Sullivan,
One set of
two-
tangos.
Oh, for Gabby, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a good Ember Spirit game, but I think it is a horrible lane against the Batrider right now, so I'm probably still going to go for T1 based off.
So you're copying me?
I called it literally the second pick of the draft. Out of spite.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, okay, sure. Skill A. It's already Sakuchi'd into lane. They've got sentry control the right side, which... Now this will give them confirmation, at least with how Whitemon's already placed his initial sentry. And we were speaking about before as well with the Bane matchup versus the Weaver. Just as soon as you run into the lane, you Nightmare him, Sakuchi on cooldown, then it gives an opportunity for your carry to get involved. And TA is honestly not the worst. Usually I like a hero with a stun just to really put the Weaver in the bin, but your TA can just get in range, set up for the meld, blow you up, and then go from there. So this will be really tough lane here for the Weaver.
I mean, the meld, of course, is a good amount of burst damage, so I feel like that's going to be the main priority now, and just trying to get as many Sideblade spills as well in onto them as possible. What's going on in this mid lane, but has Carl talking.
It's
Sure, it was just a single melee creep deny is probably getting him talking.
I mean, we didn't see many games of this Batrider being broken with the Manta Agshard, but I'm sure Carl maybe experimented a little bit with it for a couple of games in pubs. He's like, oh yeah, free MMR, thank you.
Sure, they're keeping track of the inventory of Whitemon here. He doesn't have any sentries, so feeling quite safe on the Weaver to make these aggressive sorts of plays. But with that, he actually ended up clipping a few of those Sideblades in. So he's got to enable this pull, although Gabby kind of drags it back into the lane. Maybe not wanting the lane to be pulled to the side, but I feel like you want to be fighting around these areas that are far away from the tower if possible.
I know you bring up a couple days ago.
Radiant's
You had
courier has been killed.
what God King's Pro Tracker up. You're like, if you're looking at any player with the new patch to recognize how you're able to pick up things, because he's definitely one of those players that finds these unique builds before anyone else does. I was watching one of God King's games. I don't know if you actually caught a glimpse of it or not, but I think it was when you were casting last night. Actually, he went Terrorblade. So he was playing Terrorblade.
Oh, when you
went,
abandoned me.
well, I had a wedding, and then I came back later on. Saw you abandoning me
How's
with
your wife?
Mike. Well, apparently you were my wife/husband.
There we go, husband. There we go.
Well, I don't know. I'm just.
I wear the pants in this relationship. Okay.
So back to God King. He was playing a Terrorblade. He went Diffusal into Aghanims, and you were saying you're the person you look to see for these unique builds, and Terrorblade going that item build is something I would say is unique.
Yeah, I feel like I'm not sure about that one. It doesn't really address the main weaknesses that you see from a Terrorblade, right? Like, Diffusal doesn't really let you accelerate your farm all that much. You're not really a fighting style of carry as a Terrorblade, so... God King, he's right about a lot of stuff, but I'm not sure about that one.
Look, honestly, the I can't remember the heroes he was into, but I was looking at them and I'm like, the Fear is pretty goddamn good this game with Ags, but then they got BKBs and it was looking a little bit duff. That's a different game, and skill.
I'm a fan of the Ags on the TV. Don't get me wrong. I'm just not a fan of the Diffusal TV.
You're a hater. I mean, what? We haven't even had the patch for a week, and who knows how good Diffusal is, even though you'd get less agi on a Terrorblade.
Never.
Just doesn't give you any stats, and I feel like that's the big thing that a TV's lacking super early.
And look at this.
It's not like it gives you movement speed either.
Carl and Zephyr both picking up the water runes, so young PH gonna have a way to refill. They also get the bounty as well, so yeah, poor young PH. He's got 19 last hits, but might be in a bit of trouble now. A TP up. Look at the damage! Oh! Whew. Now you can tuck out some voice lines.
Has been killed.
Especially since he has to make that long walk of shame. So he's going to look to try and push this wave as much as he can underneath the Dire Tower. I wonder if we're even going to get any rotations through. We will, from Skill A trying to get to the lane as quickly as
Dire's
possible.
middle
But
tower
you
is
can't
under
exactly
attack.
just run up into this Bat Rider just with the 1 point in the Shikuchi either.
Oh, okay. So what's he looking for next? This now gives a bit of a window here. Like, we were already saying how rough bottom's going to be for a T. I mean, he's got 13 last hits, but now without having the Weaver in this lane to kind of protect him for this wave or twos, they're going to start to set up. Gabby now has the level in refraction. That extra little bit of damage here. Try and bring the Night Stalker into a threshold where he's unable to poke his face out in mid lane. Early lasso from Carl. TP's starting to fly. They might be a little bit too late though. Young PH is going to go down 5+ in a nick of time. Now give him your own voice lines, Young PH. Yes, sir.
Thanks be to you.
Oh, the ego of mid lane. It's just always going to be present there. Did need 3 heroes to be able to make that happen, so I'm sure that that's something that I was going to be able to throw back at them. I 1v1'd you. Needed your 2 mates.
And, I mean, Young PH is not going to care because he's got level 6 now and you're going to be okay in this matchup. You just start to shove the creeps in, rem them out. No cares in the world. So this has really gotten the Ember out of the scary timing. He's even got to pick up a double damage rune. So honestly, the sequence of events really starting to favor the lad over there on Young PH, and he should be okay now.
You have
Been looking to
been
get
denied.
aggressive against Carl. Doesn't have a point in the lasso, having just used it to try and go for the kill, although the tower's getting a few free hits onto him. He has to remnant all the way back here.
Radiant's
on.
courier has been killed.
Run into, oh, he got disarmed. Oh,
Oh.
no. Is he still going to do enough damage? Young PH, he's going to go for the kill. Got some one charges, white one, playing around with fire at the moment. Who
That's
gets
disarm. Oh my
They're now
god. Thank
top.
you, Cobalt Camp.
Cuckoo's alone. Does have Zephyr to connect to.
Dire are scanning.
That Cobalt Soldier, man. Went from the most useless camp in the entire game to pretty hype.
I just, I want to see so many Chen and Enchantress games just so I can, every time they get a new creep, I can just, click on it, be like, oh yeah, new ability, cool. And I can start to be a little bit more familiar with them. But right now, I'm not going to just go across the map and just click on random neutrals. I mean, I don't know if stream would like that.
They would love that. I asked them.
Neutral POV. All right, what do we got? Saint or Banishment with the Mind Stealer.
Mind Stealer is really strong.
Why?
They gave him the mana aura as well as mana burn.
That's a lot of mana, 2.5. What, you just take that over, send it to like a Storm Spirit or something like that?
I mean, you have previously you kind of like might have had a bit of an issue with the actual mana burn that you're able to do, but now it's just like it's permanently up. 2.5 second of the mana aura, mana burn, of course, 18-second cooldown. So yeah, I feel like in these sorts of lanes where you're trying to spam out a little bit more, be very effective.
Gabby, he's already started to make his rotation back to the jungle. He's gonna have skill lane next to him, trying to squash the bug, but have enough damage just to bring him down with the Sakuchi on cooldown. So this will give a free lane over to a T with this first nighttime. A little bit occurring around mid. Just some supports looking to connect with Carl.
You have been denied.
I do really like the hero. I'm still on the neutral train.
Mid lane?
Oh, I'm here.
So's out. Yep. Zorain's just gonna have to stand there and watch as Carl. You can drop another voice line after getting a kill. Very nicely done. Getting closer and closer towards the Boots of Travel, so it's going to be a very good timing. Oh, he's even got the pogo stick too. You'll love to see it.
I like that the small creeps are starting to use their abilities as well, right? Like occasionally the Harpy will start to use the storm, the chain lightning if you are going onto her. The ogres, the red ogres, the bruisers start to smash down with their hammer. Lots of little cool things like that. Just makes the game feel a bit more alive.
Just makes jungling not as easy. You're just mindless,
Good.
honestly. Just like we were saying before, Gabby going back to the jungle, and now he's got to worry about someone disarming him or just a random stun coming out from nowhere that he's got to dodge. Slows it down a little bit.
Dire's top tower is
Gabby's not
under
really being
attack.
slowed down at all. Second in the net worth. Miri and Cuckoo's having a much better performance, and kind of what we were expecting though with the Io. It's a really
Radiant's
great
middle
lane
tower
pairing.
is under attack.
And Cuckoo is going to be working into the armlet here.
They're definitely not going to have any kind of the damage issues this time around. They've got decent team fight set up with the arena or the Nightmare and Fiend's Grip. And the damage potential is, of
Dire's
course, always going to be
structures
there.
are
They've got high ground, they've got team fight. Maybe not insane roche taking potential, just TA on her own isn't fantastic.
Yeah.
Dire's
H.
bottom tower is under
There's the
attack.
Dark Ascension out.
Radiant's
The
middle
Hazel
tower is
Carl's
under
going to
attack.
give him plenty of movement speed. Reset if need be. So maybe they're just going to use the Dark Ascension to take the T1 tower. There are
Dire's bottom
extra
tower is
movements
under
coming out
attack.
from T1 to maybe think about defending this. So looks like it's going to end up going for free. Zephyr might join along with the tower dropping as well. That was a
I
peculiar
don't know about that
position.
one.
Up lane Zorain's going to trade his life as well. So kill across the map a piece, but feels a little bit unnecessary for Zephyr to die though.
It feels incredibly unnecessary.
Okay.
I could not fault him at all about his game 1 play, but that was not it.
Bottom lane, Case H. He's got two heroes
Hey.
looking to connect now, but he's in trouble. Carl's able to close the distance, and they've got plenty of damage, even with one stack. And now, I mean, we saw a T. He used Dark Ascension previously, so he's going to have to rely on the TP to make it back home. Nice awareness with no stuns available to cancel that.
Probably not necessarily needing to go ahead and drop
Dire's
the
top tower is
lasso
under
to be able to
attack.
take down that Luna at the time, considering you had 2 heroes to be able to do so. So, missing out on a chance for an extra kill.
Oh.
Although, young PH, he's hungry. He's just following the fire trail.
Any TPs? Bane's got one. Carl's going to actually try and TP out himself, but young PH flies over the tree line. Easy way to cancel that with the chains landing, and very nicely done. A lot of spams in the voice lines, but it looks like Yangon now firm control of bottom, so they should be able to open up their second tower of the game.
Radiant's bottom tower
Young PH is
under
playing
attack.
incredibly well. Like, the
So-
fact that you've gotten out of this laning stage
Radiant
ahead of the
structures
Bat
are
Rider,
fortified.
even though he died a couple of times, it just goes to show how much of a skilled player he is.
They're actually
TP's
gonna
starting to
come
come
bot.
in.
Wymon's got 6, so
Bane.
yeah, might catch them off guard.
I mean, but with who, though?
Oh.
The relocate's coming in. Oh, just a little bit too fast. More rotations coming through here. Bat Rider coming to the bottom side of the map. Cuckoo trying his best to push in top. That armlet, of course, very hard to kill.
Gabby, oh, we got the kill, but not the experience.
For heresies unknown.
Well, I mean, he took a huge stack of the Ancient, so he's skyrocketed up in net worth. Very close to the Desolator. This is going to be quite the timing here for Gabby. And armlet on Cuckoo. So you'd really like to see this arena be used shortly, considering I do not believe we've had the first one yet of the game. So maybe getting a kill on a T and then taking the tower. Looks like the Night Stalker seeing Gabby and Cuckoo top. He'll just be forced away from the area.
Yeah, I was thinking maybe that first arena to be used onto the Night Stalker there previously, but his Dark Ascension had just come off cooldown. They knew it as well. Last time that he'd used it was just around that 10-minute mark when it was going to be daytime, so
Radiant's bottom tower is
just
under
more of a
attack.
threatening one at the moment. Ember's kind of low on mana.
Imon's gonna try and land the Fiend script. Nice Flame Break pushback. We'll delay how long they're able to cancel this, but still chase down the Bane afterwards, so really nice maneuver from Yangon. They were, I think, looking to smoke to connect to bottom just to see if any tier 1 heroes were trying to defend the tower, but protect your position too. You get a kill out of it. Now you're looking for more as well. You've still got decent duration of the Dark Ascension, but having a tier 2 tower this early on would be a difficult task.
Just a couple of misplays coming through here as well. Batrider tried to TP down to that bottom lane to maybe set up onto the Luna while she was solo, but they were a tiny bit slow with the glyph, so up being able to quickly loosen beam it down, and means that KSH is going to continue to farm.
They got any stacks? No, we did see Whitemon move very early on to try and block up the Ancient, so it's still blocked at the moment. They haven't put any emphasis on trying to enable KSH, so we are kind of seeing that shown in the net worth as well with how behind she is. Oh, really? Okay, what do we got?
KSH now.
So bottom, KSH, they're going to get the +2. Could be our first arena of the game as well from Cuckoo. Chain's going to hold them back, and we'll give an opportunity for Luna to reposition. It's going to run straight to the hands of Whitemon, though. They just want to secure the kill with the use of the arena. So 1-for-1. Still off to the other side, though, Young PH. He's locked onto Carl, will attempt to TP the damage with a double remnant. That's enough. I mean, I was saying Young PH, he's got to back himself with the Ember into the bad matchup, and the fact that he's excelling like he is in this game is just props to him. He is someone we've always been super impressed with whenever we get to watch Yangon.
Absolutely. The main issue, though, is they haven't dealt with Gabby. He's just been sitting up here onto the top side of the map. He's built up a nice little bit of a net worth lead, about a 2,000 one. That's that Desolator completed, so I'm sure that next time they've got the opportunity to do so, now that Gabby's pushed in this top lane, might look to get one more set of camps to join the rest of his team around that mid tower, drop the arena in 40 seconds, have the Batrider there, take the tower, and that'll open up Roche for you.
Dire are scanning.
Still a big net worth lead for T1, 3,000. So how are you wanting to see them utilize the early lead that they've been able to accumulate?
It's just got to be around Roche, right? Like, Yangon have a decent Roche lineup, to be fair, right? Like, you've got a lot of damage from the Lunar Blessing, you're going to have the minus armor from the Swarm. It might not be a Desolator, but it's going to be enough to be able to take it out if you do win a convincing team fight. So I feel like it's, while you do have this net worth lead, it's important to capitalize on it as much as possible. I'm feeling a little bit scared, though, considering it is nighttime. Just see that they're setting up, understanding that at any point, T1 could look to go for that sort of play, just putting their vision up there onto the high ground as Whitemon makes a bit of a scout, plants a super deep ward in place, but I don't think they actually saw him do so.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
It was under the cover of nighttime. Oh, they're gonna Whitemon. Yeah, that's a high ground. He's not gonna walk up another time now. At least in the next couple of minutes before they take care of the ward. So he pings it out.
Are they actually going to consider this? I don't know if they can. Like, they need a full team fight win if they're going to go for this, whereas T1, I feel like maybe just one pickoff is enough to open up the Roche pit for themselves. See, that's what they're waiting for, the Blink Dagger to be available on the TA, so now would be a great time to catch her out.
Oh no, Gabby just gets away. They're pinging. Nighttime.
I see him.
Keep running, Gabby, keep running.
Right
He's in trouble.
Though.
Next to the tier 2. Whitemon as well might be able to provide him a little bit of breathing room with the Nightmare. They're going to hold back the Night Stalker. Gabby's out to safety. Now the initial start for Yangon. He thwarted. How do they reevaluate if they want to take the fight? It looks like there will not be one as Carl... So without a quick way in, and Cuckoo wasn't in prime position to jump as well, but it's Dark Ascension wasted. So let's see what Radiant want to do with this information now.
I mean, you got the Blink Dagger, no Dark Ascension, you've still got the Arena of Blood. Now's the time to make a play.
You force
no
him?
time lapse either. Yeah, absolutely. Let's see, what's the vision looking like? May be able to... It was just Gabby using the Blink Dagger to get inside the Roche pit. No one's really revealing just yet, making sure to take that line.
Carl's going to revision.
Carl just
yeah,
revealed now.
now he just... I mean, they were starting to move on over. But Luna's not showing up just without the BKB. And Pierre's going to try and give them a glimpse of how low Roche is. Like the Beetle's on it as well. How do you start though? It's going to be on young PH to run it in, and Cuckoo's going to take away that opportunity. A spear to start
grip.
with the follow-up lasso. Now the grip as well off to the side makes sure the Weaver doesn't have an opportunity to steal the Aegis. Everybody at the time lapse out, but Radiant, they've already been set up perfectly with the sentry near the area. Cuckoo off the mark with a Gorge Rebuke. Gabby jumps on over the tree line. Lands the meld to secure the last little bit of damage. They also finally get the D-Ward as well. So nicely done from T1. Like you were saying, with the Dark Ascension on cooldown, they can just brute force in, and that they do.
Carl nearly giving it away, though, with just his movement there. Even like Cuckoo, he was very deliberate with where he made sure to run into that, realizing the extent of the vision that high ground ward could provide. But TA just irresistible to be able to fight into, and a really good start to that team fight there by Cuckoo to prevent any kind of shenanigans coming through from the Ember Spirit.
We do have BKB now on KSH, so disassembled the Dragonlance for this, but second in net worth, still well and truly behind the Templar Assassin though, so we'll see how Yangon are going to look to take a fight. You got a minute left on nighttime, but Dark Ascension's up shortly.
Dire's top tower
Do
is
you
under
feel
attack.
like they're in a position, or do you just wait out the ages?
Oh, I feel like that's a long time to wait, though.
Yeah.
You know, a TA, it's not one of those heroes that doesn't like to have a ton of farm. You know, like she is very happy to just sit passively and farm faster than you can. You know, Luna farms fast, but TA, especially with this Desolator, is going to do just as much. Just a couple of really small mistakes there. They might have actually caught out the fact that that smoke was used, because Gabby was still farming at the time.
Dorian's in a position to pop it. I don't know if they can take the fight. Luna's going to think about showing up. Young PH ever going to buy back as well, but they've had the T1 tower to TP2. Carl falling low, but a BKB to reset. Now with the Arena along the choke point. So Yangon, they're not going to have an angle into the fight. As Whitemon holding back the Night Stalker before he's being a nuisance to the backline. He's just out of range of the Silencer as well. So the Fiend's Grip doing God's work. Now the lasso on Young PH as well. He's still going to be a nuisance with the Remnant. Out to the west, the Nightmare misses with the Spear, but no Remnants available. So Young PH will go down with the rest of Yangon Galacticos.
Really nicely done there by Whitemon. If he doesn't get off that Nightmare, he didn't have the Fiend's Grip up for quite some time, and he's even going to get rewarded with a double Observer Ward D-Ward there.
Dire's middle tower is
Lots
under
of money,
attack.
lots of experience going over to our Bane. But yeah, if he doesn't get that Nightmare off, he didn't have the Fiend's Grip at the time, it would have meant that the Night Stalker was able to come in onto the back lines, get that
Dire's
right click
middle
off
tower
onto
is under attack.
the Bat Rider and take him down, so they didn't have the continuous follow-up in that fight. So really well played by Whitemon, and Cuckoo's showing up for sure.
Yes, sir.
He's doing a lot more damage in this game. He's setting up for so many more team fights, and it just, again, it comes down to the ease of execution of playing a, well, say that as he gets stunned by an Ogre Brute, but it's so much easier to play this Mars relative to an Axe, right? Like, you can't screw it up, basically.
Like, and I wonder if they came into this draft looking to just enable him as well. Whitemon. Fiend's Grip, still cooldown for 40. Gabby's they're not gonna have enough damage to go through him, I don't think. He got Remnant? He's got one. Gabby does so much. Okay. I did want to say before mid laner happens, Batrider's not gonna be able to cancel that. You picked Cuckoo's hero very early on, but you picked it with an eye. So it felt like they wanted to get a good combo for Cuckoo just to enable him with how rough a performance he had in game 1.
This feels like a very normal draft for T1. You know, there's nothing super out of the ordinary here. And the main concern that I have is this,
Dire's bottom tower
like, it's
is under
still
attack.
not a bad Night Stalker game, but you just left yourself so many options to be counted out, particularly before you have this BKB. It is of, like, utmost importance that RT ends up finishing up this BKB for himself.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
He needs to just buy the Ogre Axe as well. I know he's considering the Blink Dagger just because he's tired of Whitemon consistently locking him down with the Nightmares.
Dire's
And I
bottom
understand
tower
it,
is
right? It
under
goes back
attack.
to that same issue that I highlighted in the draft. No one's going to save you if Night Stalker gets on top of you. So he feels like that Blink Dagger is perhaps a bit more important than the BKB because, you know, even if you have
Dire's bottom
BKB, he
tower
can still
has
Fiend Script you if
Radiant's
he's quick
top
enough,
tower
which
has fallen.
Whitemon's shown he can be.
Yep. Exceptional reactions coming through from Whitemon throughout this game. And now you're 9,000 gold behind along with the tier 2 tower, and will be all they'll get in regards to the objectives with this Aegis, with it being reclaimed in about 15 seconds. But big lead now for T1. And
Radiant's
let's see
top
what
tower
Dire
is
look to
under
do though.
attack.
You know, any items
Dire's
shortly
bottom
picked
tower
up.
is
So
under
look,
Nags
attack.
nearly on Weaver, which is pretty important, especially
wow.
playing against a Batrider.
how's he? I'm
Dire's
surprised he's gotten
middle
this much
tower
farm.
is under attack.
It's a Weaver, it's broken, that's how.
Ah, yes, yes. You're still spiteful. I understand. You like this with ex-girlfriends?
This is not relationship counseling.
Scully's like, come on, give me a little bit of farm. He's got Philosopher's Stone. I guess that helps out. What's Luna working on? Back from Dragonlance, now into the Manta. Okay. Not the worst Manta game, of course. Get rid of the silence from Gabby's traps. Feeble. Sticky. Dodge
Lane
the
break.
spear. Come on, you were
Dire's
supposed to say
middle
that. We
tower
had a
is
roll
under
going
attack.
on there for a second.
Well, dodging the spear, that's dumb.
Ah, dumb. Yes, yes. Ember? Oh
Nice,
no,
lane
the
break.
silence from Gabby. Really nice way to sit up, and then Carl can push him back to find an angle in. Oh, that is now 2 down, and Cuckoo's looking to try and set up as well. A T. Oh! Well, he doesn't get the stun, but he cancels the TP nonetheless. So T's going to be forced to pop the Dark Ascension. Relocate. Now expended. They have vision.
They can see him.
What?
Hello?
I don't know how,
Hello?
but
A T? I mean, is that technically low ground? Maybe that's why?
I don't know.
'Cause it's like river?
What? I thought he would have been
Dire's middle
okay.
tower is under attack.
You thought wrong. As they push in, I mean, you could just go high ground here. No Dark Ascension, and it's going to be daytime in 20 seconds.
Dire's
You
middle
could
tower
very
has
easily look
fallen.
to... Maybe they just want to take it slow, get that last outer tower, but I feel like the time is now for T1 to be able to move forward. Yeah, I guess they don't have arena. And you'll still have that 50-second window.
We were seeing the praises of young PH. Now, 2,500 gold behind his counterpart. And until he gets BKB, it feels like he's going to struggle in these fights. Really has to wait till some of the abilities are forced and then get an angle in. And they're going to run through traps. Gabby, Blink, BKB. They're eyeing up the eye. That's a great way to start, but Zephyr
Dire's top tower
tether
is
out.
under
Now
attack.
Gabby just turns, crits down one.
1v5.
Turns to the Luna. KSH gonna get the ulti off. Great use of the Argon's able to reposition back to the Bane. They're doing decent amount of damage, but now with the heal once again from Zephyr, keeping them in fighting
hiding
shape. But
him.
look at Cuckoo. Still somehow finds a perfect use of the arena. They got the Fiend Grip as well. This game is really getting out of control here, and with skill A falling, Carl just salt to the wound with the lasso from afar, thanks to the 8th lens. Man, Zephyr. This man, Phoenix game 1, now the IO as well through that fight was just enough heal burst for them to group up around the arena, and they just couldn't take a
Dire's
fight.
middle tower is under attack.
It's just the heal burst, but also everyone else's positioning, right? Like he was just zipping around that team fight constantly, using his tether to get himself out of harm's way. Really, really nice play coming through. There's one
Dire's
mistake at the
middle
very
tower
start of the
has
game, just
fallen.
giving himself up as a free kill for that
Dire's
Dark
top
Ascension.
tower is under attack.
Instead, he's completely redeemed himself. 3 lane of rack.
Oh, Daedalus, would you look at that? Maxed out Destra damage as well.
Dire's middle barracks.
Cool item, buffed up, you love to see it.
Dire's
I'm
top
just trying to
tower is
trigger
under
you.
attack.
Gonna
Yeah.
Octarine. Ooh.
Why did they need more damage, man?
What do you mean? It
Dyer's top
wasn't
tower
broken
is
enough,
falling.
honestly. What, are you doubting Gaben? Are you doubting
Yes. If
Ozfrog?
Weaver still exists.
Cuckoo? You're fine. You got BKB, you got Zephyr nearby. Maybe trying to force out a BKB, but Cuckoo's experienced. He knows he doesn't have to need this, and they're going to relocate him out, but there's no way you can get on top of the eye before this. They've got the outpost as well, so they can just TP too. In fact, they're just going to smoke to
Look
connect.
at the lines on the map. Get over to me,
Danog
help
are
me.
scanning.
You guys better evacuate from the area. I don't know. They were very off time with that swarm. Young PH?
PH.
Doesn't get too far away.
Cast range.
Radiant structures are fortified.
Ooh,
Left.
T.
It's hunted for more.
Get him, Carl. Hunt him!
Oh, that was close.
A different look of T1 in this game. I mean, like you... Is that what we saw earlier? I'm trying to remember our previous series.
What up?
The T1 Neon.
Mm.
I'm trying to remember it was one-sided game 1, one-sided game 2. Game 1 went 48 minutes in. Gabby?
It was that Brood Mother game, though.
Oh yeah, the Brood one was... Oof. So, I mean... It's looking like we might have tiebreakers
Dyer's top
or
tower is under
it come
attack.
down to tiebreaker rules or head-to-head rules, whatever that's going to be the case. But we were saying that Yangon and T1 this series depended on who was able to make it to the upper bracket. It's not over yet. 18,000 and Daddy Gaben saying a 1% probability for Yangon. But now with Roche up, I don't know.
Just waiting there. Praying to the Roshan gods.
They've
Who's
answered.
gonna get this shard? Has to be two, right?
Yeah, no one wants to spell him.
Fallen to the radiant.
Therefore, all live still. So yeah, Cuckoo will take the shard. Working to the overwhelming blink as well from Cuckoo, so he's going to be a beefy man to kill. Armlet toggled, 3,400 health. Do see skill A outside the base, but with Gabby and Zephyr showing the lane with that observer ward, able to get back to safety. Still looking for... So, when he's level 14 at the moment, everyone's struggling on the boys in Yangon. It's really off the back of Luna to bring them back in.
Trying to play that strategy of there's nowhere safe to be. You know, you're always going to be losing something on the map. Bot lane's going to start to casually push in. Gabby just like to front line for the rest of the team. Have to deal with the swarm, but take too long as Luna just using those Manta illusions to clear it out, which means that you're not going to have as much damage potential to be able to
So?
stop this.
They're going to land on top of the Amber here. Cuckoo flies on over as well. Make sure there's no answer. And well, if anyone shows, they're now blocked in.
Tower is under attack.
The walls of the arena and closing in as the Yoga falls. 2 down to start. Now with the backline. Once again, man. I mean, you
My
saw the
God.
Night Stalker pick and you're like, I don't know. Into the Bane, that's a tricky matchup. And we've spoken about how some of these matchups, you can just outplay them as BKBs answer the Eclipse. And now KSH trying to retreat back to the fountain. Will be fastened up to the back line.
Took a ball back into this.
A T, once again, Wyvern is able to find the Nightmare before this Night Stalker is able to get on top of the supports and had to die back and a
Dyer's
real
top
angle in
tower
to try and
is
hold
fallen.
this set. A barracks that Gabby wants blood.
Dyer's top barracks
Looking for revenge after the difficult game 1 here. They land the spear, KSH. I mean, Skill A is going to try and get him ranged to offer out the time-lapse save. A little bit too late with the Nightmare this time. Goes back to the grasping hands of the fountain. And maybe they've dived a little bit too deep. You know, Cuckoo's going to fall. He'll take away the Aegis advantage now on Gabby as well. What more can you really get out of this? Just fighting to Gabby. Just 5
silence,
hits
man.
the Ember. And now Weaver's the next on the agenda as well as T1. They have secured what's looking like game 2 victory here. And in the end, our second series of the day is going to be 1-for-1. Gabby, unfortunately, give him the rampage. Come on. 5's alright. Come on. Chop, chop.
T1 victory.
He's not going to listen. But it is going to be another 1-1. What a surprise. You know, eventually we're able to get the exact same result at the end of the day. And that does mean that we've got these 2 teams, both T1 and Yangon Galacticos, on 9 wins and 5 losses. So again, Not exactly sure about how the tiebreaker situation is going to work, or I'm going to say the word again, the German word that decides, because head to head, as we just saw, 1-1 between these two teams. So it's going to need to go down to that second level to decide who is going to be going to the upper bracket or who's going to be going to the lower bracket. There is one situation where both of these teams do stay in the upper bracket, though, because Orca is the team that is currently in fifth. They have 8 wins and 4 losses. So the important thing is that they've still got, I believe, 2 series left to play. Maybe I'm wrong. It might just be the one.
I'm
But
pretty sure it's 2.
okay, so if they've still got 2 series left, then against Execration now and Polaris tomorrow, they only need to win. Check the results against T1 and SMG, but I'm pretty sure they would only need to win 1 game yet, because they would be ahead of T1
Yep.
in that aspect.
Which they should.
So
4 games they're going to win a map. Yeah, unless we just jinx him now. Who knows? But we'll see. It's at least we get to watch Orca next up against Execration, so that's going to be an exciting series. Execration towards the bottom end of the table. I don't think there's any opportunity unless they win all. If they win all next 4 maps, they go 8-8.
nah, not enough.
Not enough. Okay, Execration, no chance. But it's now time to determine if Team Orca is potentially going to secure their place in the upper bracket or not. But to just tie a nice little bow on this series, T1. We saw our game 1 was looking really the angle back in. Zephyr had an exceptional performance, and game 2 they just enabled Cuckoo. Like, we kind of brought it up a little bit, the Io along with the Mars early on, just to make sure they can secure his lane, secure his game, get a comfortable hero with Carl, and then you've got a really strong lane with Gabby along with Whitemon. Whitemon actually played a lot better than what we were expecting, especially into the little bit trickier matchups like Ember to jump you, Night Stalker to jump you, but maybe it's just enabled with how far ahead they were. I also want to say, you said in chat to never listen to me. I'm always wrong. I said T1 before you predicted, and you copied me, so I'm not always wrong.
Incorrect. I said T1 second pick of the draft, so you copied me. That makes me completely correct with my predictions for today. But I need to go get a snack because it is nearly 1 a.m. here, and we need to wait. Make sure you do stick around though, because it is Orca taking on Execration for our next series. For Orca, it matters a lot. For Execration, not quite as much. It still will matter for that lower bracket seeding, but it is still going to be some entertaining games, because Execration, while they might have been a bit shaky towards the start of the tournament, they've been looking a lot stronger in recent times. So it should be a banger.
Yeah, it's going to be a banger. Orca up against Execration, our third and final series of the night. We're coming to you guys shortly after a break.